John Collector! The Madam Web we actually deserve. Misunderstood steamer trunk enthusiast? Or bravely disarming a horrible burglar mid-heist? This handyman of horrors has a unique sense of redecoration in mind for the Chase family. But can he afford it? Hello, and welcome to Foot the Bill, where we audit your favorite media. My name is Trey, and today we're tackling The Collector, yet another Nine Inch Nails music video of a movie. See? Originally proposed as a prequel to the Saw series and shipped as The Midnight Man, this film was reworked into the 2009 home invasion masterpiece we now know as The Collector. This movie didn't come out of nowhere though. Writer-directors Patrick Melton and Marcus Dunstan were also the minds behind Saw 4, 5, 6, 3D, and the upcoming Saw 11, which we still have to wait a year for. You can think of this franchise as a sibling to the Saw series, as they really do share the same blood. Oh, and they finally greenlit a third Collector movie after several years of vague nonsense and almost starts. I hope it's in 3D. Collect 3D. Before we get to The Collected, or The Collection, we have to talk about The Collector. And before we talk about The Collector, we must discuss the rules.
The rules are simple.
No utilities get charged for. Location-specific scavenging is permitted when applicable. If it can be fished out of the trash, it's not an expense, it's foraging. The Chase home is currently under renovation, so a lot of the materials depicted can be sourced from on-site. Another case of found stuff engineering. All prices will be calculated in the year depicted. For The Collector, that's 2009, so inflation should be only slightly nightmarish. With the rules established, can our BDSM Spider-Man fend off a burglar and teach a family the art of interior decorating? Or does The Collector miss out on a rare find in the suburban swamps? Let's find out. The movie opens to crickets trapped in a lamp. That's messed up. And we're introduced to the Whartons. Larry, that's Larry, and Gina, that's Gina, have just come home from what must be a bourgeoisie banger of a party because those two are sloshed.
Hey, I'll be up in a bit.
Better.
Dang you two, keep it PG. Larry tries to read the mail, I guess, when he notices the lights are out. Very out. Gina shouts for Larry and points to a trunk in their bedroom. Weird party gift. A note on the trunk reads, "For the collection," before jostling around a bit. What's in the box?
What's in the box?
An off-screen hand pulling Larry into the title. We're met with Combichrist absolutely destroying the intro credits, rendering the identities of anyone involved in the creation of this film indecipherable. By the way, that song is called Shut Up and Bleed. If you're into that kind of music, I highly recommend Combichrist, God Module, KMFDM, or Error. Rivetheads unite. The credits show John Collector's interests. Spiders, speakers, homes, pretty normal stuff. Eventually, we're taken over to a home nails deep in renovation. Arkin, that's Arkin, is currently overseeing the doors and windows of this renovation. Michael, that's Michael, is head of the Chase family. Victoria the mom, little Hannah, and Jill. No, wait, that's a wrinkle.
What shall I call you? How about Jill?
That's Jill. That's kind of messed up.
You're about to hear a fight.
Oh, rule one, Jill. What the hell? We do not talk about Family Fight Club. Not on the eve of the annual Family Fight Club vacation.
But don't freak, it's just a show.
Also, what is the state of this housework operation? We've got Arkin on a first-name basis with the family, but also a whole crew that's way more equipped than he is. That exterminator won't even touch the wasps. What is happening here? Arkin wraps up and gets paid out by Michael for a good day's work, I guess, before heading off to visit his kiddo who lives at the bowling alley. Arkin's daughter is in deep debt with loan sharks, and her mom is the leader of the pack. The bill is due at midnight, so Arkin's in a real bind to get his daughter covered.
Look, I'm gonna get you the money. Just give me until midnight, all right?
Midnight.
What's a handyman to do? Well, get in touch with his fixer from Night City, obviously. Man, I can't show you any of this bar scene, but we can fast forward to their chat in the car. Apparently, Arkin has been scoping out the house for a good old burglary. Arkin's a thief, I guess, and Michael is a jeweler who takes his work home with him, I guess. Thieves aren't normally proficient in charisma checks, but Arkin rolls high and the gig is on. A hawk watches Arkin arrive at the Chase house, and Arkin gets psyched up for the job ahead. Damn, it's foggy. Hope it's not gonna rain later. The house looks mostly abandoned, but that's odd. I don't remember the Chases having a security dog. Arkin survives with a flesh wound and makes his way to the back door, picking the lock with ease. Arkin makes his way upstairs noisily, triple checking to make sure the family is gone before heading to the mirror in the master bathroom. Damn, that's some cool safe cracking gear. I guess it listens to the safe, registering the placement of the... Did you hear that? Huh. Anyway, it looks like it registers the difference in sound between a locked plate position and an opening in the platter. Uh-oh, someone's home. Arkin closes up shop in the bathroom as a new invader makes their way up the stairs, leading to a very tense almost miss at the intersecting hallway. Arkin heads back downstairs, jumping the creaky step, only to find the back door is now very thoroughly locked. Now, you may be wondering, how did all those deadbolts get installed in 30 seconds? Well, they weren't. They were already installed when Arkin got there. You can see them here in the top left corner of the shot. It's very neat. We won't charge for them just yet, though, because our home invaders headed back downstairs and into the basement. Arkin, in a panic, checks the time. He's still got an hour to pay off his daughter's debts, and we've still got an hour left in this movie, so it's back up to the safe we go. I just wish that scream in the vents would go away. Michael, you remember Michael, pops in to freshen up because he looks like hell. Arkin tries to hide, but Michael spots him.
Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this?
Michael hastily grabs for a golf club that has been nefariously turned into a massive tripwire trap. While he's hanging out, let's break down what we've got. There's about 50 feet of steel cable running from the golf clubs to the hallway, as well as a ceiling pulley installed along the way. All of this leads back to what I'll call the slingshot box. A drill operates as a motor, feeding the turning function of some belts which are triggered by the spring lock winch system, all of which is housed in a box mounted to the wall. There's also some sort of tension trigger that, upon pulling Michael into an upright position, drops his bougie ass onto the floor. Michael, you okay? Okay, I think he's okay. Yeah, he's okay. Oh no, he's not okay. Bye, Mike. Arkin decides it's maybe time to cut his losses and call the cops, but the phone's been tapped. Or rather, his ear's just been tapped by the phone. Ow. Enjoy the rest of the movie in mono. Opting to just haul his way out of the boarded up windows, Arkin discovers they're also booby-trapped with tiny razor blade spring traps. Frickin' ow! While Arkin's stuck there, I'll clear something up. I'll charge for the razor trap he just triggered, but I'm not going to charge for the boarded up windows or the needle phone. You see, this house is under renovation, and we'll see later on plenty of stacks of wood around the property. As far as I'm concerned, John Collector collected the wood from the property and boarded up the windows. So anything that uses a large amount of wood or wood nails is fine, no charge. That said, there are particular materials I will charge for, such as the straight razors here and the springs necessary to create the trap Arkin is currently trying to finger himself out of. So we'll charge for this razor trap here and the non-wood materials seen in the tripwire nailboard trap in the hallway. Almost got you there, bud. You better keep your eyes up instead of looking down. Arkin hides out in Hannah's room and we get our first good look at the Collector. Dude's head looks like a spider's egg sac. Arkin pops back downstairs, making his way past the metal as heck home decor. Knife chandelier? Yes, please. I'll hold off on charging for those knives until we get a better look at the kitchen, just in case they're locally sourced. When shopping for knives during your home invasion, always use grass-fed, locally sourced knives. Arkin tries for another window, but damn, it's barred. I think that was your job, buddy. Good work, I guess. Arkin spots another tripwire trick, but we'll save that for later because right now, we need to talk about webs. Man, Spider-Man man has been real busy tonight. Arkin stumbles into a Hollywood favorite, the danger wire. This stuff will slice you on sight, basically, but its construction is up for debate. I did a deep dive into different dangerous wires: cheese wire, fishing lines, carbon nanotubes. Turns out a lot of wires are actually very dangerous in the right circumstances, but it's a hard thing to research without looking like you're trying to accomplish something. I'm not trying to accomplish anything other than knowledge, thank you. And my knowledge gained suggests that, lacking for a better alternative, piano wire is the safest unsafe bet. Well, it's safe for a bet, it's unsafe for skin, and very safe for this application, which is unsafety. Is it perfect? No. I'd much prefer carbon nanotubes. But alas, we can charge for a spool of your deadliest piano wire and the mounting hardware. Arkin understandably backs away from the web slinger's idea of a French door and nearly stumbles into something a bit more rural. Approximately 25 bear traps. And now it's time to talk about the bear traps. Did you know bear traps were originally invented to trap humans? In a way, they're being used more appropriately here than they ever were for the bears. Bear traps aren't cheap. Cast iron bear traps are even more aren't cheap, and very large cast iron bear traps are even more aren't cheap. Each of these traps are, by my estimation, just based on the size, somewhere in the ballpark of $325 a piece. If that seems like a lot, well, when you're in the business of trapping bears, you kind of have the power of economics on your side, don't you? I mean, what, you gonna haggle with the guy selling bear traps? You're just gonna be like, well, I'll just go try the bears myself. I'll figure something out. No, it's difficult to get a good count on the bear traps, but between this scene and a few others, I think I can put that number at 25. I'm starting to wonder if the collector is also the reseller, because that's a lot of money for bear traps. Money wasted on Arkin, it seems, who deftly avoids every single one. Arkin makes his way to the kitchen for a snack, paying mind to avoid the tripwire machete mounted to the wall. A chop like that is how you become the snack. Again, we can charge for the wire, the fixtures, the pulley, and that big old machete. Also, I'm pretty sure we can spot the knife holder in the kitchen has been pilfered. Very nice attention to detail there. And we see a ton of nails, making the back stairs a bit treacherous. Again, no charge here, as I consider this to be scavenged. Arkin hears the collector coming back down the stairs. Man, those stairs are getting a workout. And Arkin retreats into the basement of Screams. Very Blair Witch, very demure. In the black of basement, a bloody hand reaches for Arkin and screams. Oh, hey, Mike. What's up, man? You feeling chatty?
Shut the f*** up. I'm trying to f***ing help you.
Michael, you remember Michael, is bound in what I call the binding chair. There's welded metal, chain, some swivels, bolts going into concrete, 4 master locks, and 4 shackles. Which is weird, because Michael does reach out for Arkin in the dark, but then it looks like his hands are pretty contained to the chair, so... third arm, maybe? Arkin tells Mike to shut up and that he's trying to help the family escape because, oh boy, this was not the plan at all. Mike tells Arkin that his family got collectored. His wife Victoria is in the next room. Jail bailed on the family fight club vacation, and Hannah is AWOL. Mike also reveals there's a handgun in the safe and gives Arkin the combination. Convenient. Arkin pops in to check on Victoria, you remember Victoria, who's prepping for a soak in the tub. She's handcuffed, gagged, and blindfolded with some very serious duct tape and staples.
Get this out of my eyes. I can't. Why?
I can't.
Why?
Because your face is frozen with Botox, and you didn't even notice the staples, Victoria. Arkin asks where Hannah is, and no one seems to know. Great parenting, guys. Arkin laments her situation, but agrees to find Hannah on one condition.
I need you to do something for me, okay? I need you to help me. I'm gonna need you to scream.
No.
Listen,
No.
Oh yes, Vicky, there will be screaming. Arkin waits for Vicky's distraction and heads upstairs, giving us a great opportunity to get a fantastic look at the Collector. Ooh. Now, while there exist mirrored contact lenses on the market, behind-the-scenes trivia reveals that this effect was achieved with 2 contacts worn simultaneously. We don't know the precise configuration, but we can get an approximate estimate for cost at the time. The mask looks like layers and layers of beaten, worn wool over a white skull cap. I can't stress enough how much this character resembles the spiders he loves, because this mask almost feels like it was grown. Arkin pops back upstairs to find that his handyman bag is handy missing. No worries though, he's got the combination to the safe now thanks to Mike. Thanks, Mike! Arkin pulls the revolver out of the safe and spots his prize along the way. A massive uncut ruby. We'll just pocket that for later, just in case. But what's this? The bullets are missing. Someone's been rifling through Mom and Dad's drawers. A sound draws Arkin's attention to the closet.
Is it you?
Hey, that trunk looks familiar. Oh, no way, it's Larry! You remember Larry?
On the bait.
Oh, never mind, he's changed his name. That's the Bait. The Bait explains the Collector collects people, shocking, but kills whoever he doesn't want to collect. That's bad news for everyone in this house. I do not see anybody worth collecting. We get a decent look at the Bait's situation, a couple of chains connected to the inside of the trunk, and some manacles going through his feet. Gross! Arkin politely shoves the Bait back into the trunk. And makes his way through the remainder of the rooms upstairs. Oh, looks like Jill's window is open. Freedom! As long as you ignore the floor glue, that is also acid. I asked a chemist, hypothetically, what sort of concoction you'd need to make acidic floor glue, and he actually quoted this scene back to me, so yeah, turns out it's just glue and acid. This is when the Collector briefly becomes all dogs go to heaven, but thanks to modern digital restoration, we can uncover the true scene that actually occurred. There's a cat that is not stuck in the acid glue and does escape out the window just in time to trigger a guillotine that does not hurt it. That cat is doing fine and living its best life. Even the Collector is happy for the kitty. See? Arkin is so impressed by the cat, he hides in the pillows while the Collector checks in on things. Arkin's pillow fort successfully repels the Collector, who goes on to kick the Bait a little bit. Arkin smartly nabs a couple of paper clips to pick some locks later on. Smart Arkin. Smartkin. Back in the basement, Arkin descends to find Mike being lazy, dressed and ready for lunch. I'm beginning to think the Collector is actually a large amount of spiders hiding in discarded person skin. Nonplussed but full of disgust, Arkin moves to free Victoria from her spa day special.
I couldn't find Hannah anywhere. I don't think she's in the house.
Where's Michael?
He's okay, he's fine.
Thief and liar, huh? Quite the Bilbo Baggins we've got here. Arkin leads Vicky out of the frying pan and into the bloody fire, where she sees her husband and loses her mind. And her stomach, because the Collector is shanking her down the stairs. After rescuing a spider, oh that's cute, he drags Vicky back into the bathroom. That's less cute. And Arkin heads back upstairs. The Collector cuffs her again in the tub, filling it with gasoline from a jerry can. Well, given that this is definitely not a normal business expense, we can charge for the contents of that jerry can. 5.7 gallons of 2009 gasoline, a fine vintage. He then sets up a Memorex 4GB 02696 digital voice recorder on a nearby stool. And with a needle and thread, he starts to get to work on Vicky. Ow. Arkin, back upstairs, is desperately trying to escape through the windows.
Listen to me. I told you to stay with me.
When a honk can be heard outside. Jill, you remember Jill, is all wet with her boyfriend. Oh, it's raining. I guess they've got a staycation in mind. Arkin tries to get a hold of them through the window, but his voice is drowned out by their love of goth music and the Bait making a ruckus from the box. Jill and Boy meander around the outside of the house. Spot that spare wood hanging out outside, by the way, and they make their way to the kitchen door, which the Collector has politely unlocked. Now that we have a better look at those deadbolts, we can see that they've been modified to work with a special key, but they still look rather new. It's an interesting decision. A special drill bit would be necessary to make this kind of modification, but given the hustle and bustle of last-minute home renovations, which today clearly was, I think it's reasonable possible the collector scavenged it from somewhere on the property. Jill and Boy head inside and start to get freaky, hilariously almost activating a couple of traps along the way, like a hormonal Mr. Magoo up in this house.
Ah, did you see that? It's like Mr. Magoo.
The collector is just kind of watching the whole time, not noticing Arkin slinking into the dining room. Schlinker. Oh look, it's Chekhov's bear traps. Jill finally notices the house guest and understandably flips shit, stabbing Boy through the fist. We finally get a good look at the collector's knives as well. It looks like he's using throwing knives, and based on my count, he's using at least 2 5-knife sets. We can go ahead and start a tally now, but I'll just charge for the full kits. Boy triggers the machete trap and loses his fingies. I'm sure he'll be, ooh, oh no, oh.
Magoo never made that mistake.
The collector grabs Jill and locks the doors as she dials 911. Arkin pops back upstairs because, bro, this ain't worth it. Actually, yeah, so he's still got the ruby. Yeah, just bail. Just bail. The collector strings up Jill using some barbed wire, but his creep factor is interrupted by an alarm clock upstairs. Arkin uses the distraction to free Jill.
You gotta be quiet. Look at me. You gotta be quiet.
But she does a bad job of being quiet and staying calm. She reaches for some scissors to defend herself, but it's actually another trap. The same one that we saw earlier from a different angle. Okay, so we've got steel cable, a pulley, some sort of counterweight system that activates something, and frankly, I'm gonna charge for another slingshot box because ain't no way a phone book is flinging her body across the room. The projector turns on as well. That could be tied into the Rube Goldberg system. Maybe that's what the phone book was for. Jill dies on a wall of nails, ghosts of her family dancing over her corpse. As the collector stares at her body, Arkin returns to try to save the bait. It's not gonna work. Arkin bails, punching out the window, not once, but twice, and parkouring off the roof. Just as he's about to get away from this nonsense, Hannah, you remember Hannah, the patron deity of nonsense, finally reveals herself. Arkin, for whatever reason, heads back up and into the house.
Run, little girl, run!
All right, that's enough of that bait. The collector chases Hannah all over the house, but dang if she ain't a slippery little thing. Just as he's about to get her though, Arkin comes in with the save. Damn, son!
Where the hell were you?
For real, Hannah, what gives? The two quickly hash out a plan to disable Mr. Collectathon, but it's gonna require playing a little The Floor is Lava.
You gotta stay off the floor, okay? All right, you can do that? Yeah. You got it?
The two prepare themselves to play a little saw trap of their own. As the door busts open, they commence. The fish tank overturns, the TV falls, and the bait gets electrocuted. The collector throws 3 more knives at Arkin, but he dodges them like he's Black Widow. He scoops up Hannah and the two escape to the bathroom, where Arkin immediately walks into a wall of fish hooks.
Oh, damn it.
Oh boy, okay. Let's count some fish hooks. These hooks look like they're 9/0 in size. We've got singles and doubles. Yeah, okay, yeah, that feels right. And if any fish hook aficionados want to correct my identification of these hooks, please feel free. I'm sure I made a mistake somewhere. The only fishing I do is with these paws and these claws. Arkin and Hannah opt to pop downstairs via the laundry chute, while the collector is breaking down the door with the bait as a battering ram. A battering ram? He busts in and the two scramble, with Arkin eventually pulling the collector's mask off. A look of recognition passes over his face before he passes out. A brief montage of blood and mayhem separate the second and third acts. It's a good moment to reflect, or take a bathroom break, or to check and see if you've subscribed to the channel. Only a quarter of you are, so if the rest of you currently subscribed, we could hit 100,000 subs today. And then we can get that cool YouTube plaque, and I can send a photo of that plaque to my dad. He won't understand what it is or why I sent it, but hey, that'll be a fun Christmas, huh? We reunite with Arkin, just hanging out in the basement. We've got 16 body suspension hooks holding Arkin up by his hands and his back, as well as another set of handcuffs. Some master locks and chain also adorn the situation above his head. The collector plops down Arkin's handy bag, you remember handy bag, and peels off a set of gloves to reveal another set of gloves. Oh, I hope Arkin didn't have anything too nefarious in that bag. Oh, it's an incredibly heavy chisel. Great. Some light dentistry later, Arkin spots Hannah under the desk and tells her to...
Stay away.
Yeah, the collector standing right there hears very clearly and starts to make his way over to Hannah. Spent the whole movie telling everyone to shut up, Arkin, and that was your opportunity to do the same. Arkin throws some not so cool insults at Webhead, who grabs the jar of roaches. You know the jar of roaches. The collector slices Arkin's tum-tum and thrusts the jar against him before putting the lit Zippo lighter beneath to incite them. How kind. Before this party can really get going though, the Fuzz show up. What a buzzkill. The collector packs up and heads upstairs to deal with this while Arkin starts to free himself. Outside, the collector wheezes his way out from behind a tree.
Please do not move!
Yeah, he makes that sound a lot, before dropping another knife and sending his pup over to finish the job. Good boy, sit, good boy. Down in the basement, Arkin removes his hooks, handcuffs, and ankle cuffs. That's some real nice lockpicking. A road flare suspended over a still alive Victoria highlights how this movie is gonna end, explosively.
God, he's gonna blow the house up.
Hang on, that bathtub is full, like very full. And that's a vintage clawfoot bathtub. Those can hold 50 to 80 gallons of what? Geez. Okay, let's see here. So we do get a shot briefly of the jerry can, along with another flare and another can of fuel next to it, but those two by themselves will not a bathtub fill. So let's see. We know the fill of a jerry can is 5.7 gallons on average, and a clawfoot bathtub of that size is a max of 80 gallons. It's not quite filled up all the way, so count for that, split the difference a bit, and let's say 13 more jerry cans worth of gas would fill up the tub. Good God, collector. That's ridiculous. You better not be using any more fluids in future movies. Outside, the collector collectors a shotgun and spies Arkin smuggling Hannah back upstairs. In a very tense exchange, the collector's dog hunts down Hannah but misses her at the last moment. Arkin quickly develops a trap for the hound, a burning trash can. Bad dog. Before delivering the dog to the collector. Sit. The two begin to fight in the kitchen, just absolutely piling into each other. Two more knives are pulled when Arkin kicks the collector down the stairs, robbing the collector of his keys, but blessing him with the shotgun. Arkin has seconds to figure out how to get out of the house before the collector comes to collector. Smart Arkin the Smartkin poses the mirror in front of the door. The collector shoots, and he drops the knife chandelier onto him. His screams fill the house as Arkin and Hannah run out to the safety of the police. Well, near safety. Arkin drops off Hannah before throwing himself into traffic. In a daze, he watches the collector take Hannah into the darkness, but it's actually just a cop. Whew. Paramedics lift Arkin into the ambulance when the house explodes, and the police begin to get his story.
This guy, exterminator, he was the same guy working earlier in the day, right? You saw his face?
Yeah, I saw him.
What happened inside that house?
He did in fact recognize the collector. Yeah, just rewind this video, I'm not gonna go over it again. Arkin gets packed up and the ambulance is heading out, the rescued spider watching the whole convoy. Oh, look y'all, nature is healing. Arkin almost ends the movie, but remembers that he has a kid that owes his wife a lot of money. He checks his pocket for the ruby and asks to make a phone call.
I need you to call my wife.
What's that? You need me to wreck your life? All right, I guess. A van slams into Arkin's ambulance, flipping it several times. Pay no mind to the fact that it looks like a Hot Wheels toy. A shadowy figure opens the door and absolutely decimates that paramedic. It's John Collector! And he's here to collect Arkin. He drags him through the mud and into the van, where he tosses him into the trunk, that very familiar trunk. The doors slam on Arkin's screams. The collector rips the logo off the van to reveal the title of the film and drives off into the night. Oh, I guess that means we also need to charge for the van, huh? Okay, yeah, Kelly Blue Book value. Yeah, all right, yeah, that's fine. The movie ends, rainy, sad, and headed off for a sequel. So, did our basement-dwelling Spider-Man collect enough person to justify his bill? Or did his favorite hobby bankrupt any chance of collecting on his debt? Let's do the collector's accounting and find out. In total, the collector spent approximately $22,998.62. Adjusting for inflation, that translates to around $33,719.06 in 2024. Aside from his van, which could probably get a tax deduction on anyway because it's a work vehicle, the collector spent the most money on all of those goddamn bear traps. So many bear traps. Seriously, it's $8,125 in bear traps in 2009, or $11,912.34 in 2024. And since most of those traps have actually now been outlawed, they're considered collector's items now, go figure, which means normal inflation rate is probably a bit low of an estimate on their real value. And now they're all burnt up. Great. The cheapest trap was the needle phone because it was free. That's a phone and a needle. Genius. Devious. Affordable. Speaking of affordable, can the collector afford any of this? Well, Arkin seems to have recognized our Mr. Webb as the exterminator from the beginning of the film. The Bureau of Labor Statistics estimates that most exterminators earned at least $24,000 per year in 2009, with the average being $32,100 per year. That's not great. Even if we nix the van, because that's part of his normal day job, that's still $14,021.62 for one house, one night. As of the first film, we don't know any other sources of income for the collector, and we don't know if he's hawking cell phones or laptops on the way out. We only have his day job and his night crawlies. This is a tough call, but honestly, I think I have to rule this as the collector could not foot the bill. I don't see a way to budget a third to half of your entire salary into a single night and sustain that lifestyle across the year, unless he's also deep in credit card debt or business loans. You know, maybe he's a burrowing Spider-Man and he's digging a little hovel for himself in his pile of past due notices. Why is every spider guy broke? But what do you think? Do you think he's got another source of income yet to be seen? There is a sequel to this film, and I haven't watched that yet, so maybe he's also got some sort of scented candle resale shop going on. There's probably a market for that, right? Thanks so much for watching. I really enjoyed this film, and I'm glad the cat got away unscathed and happy. So did the dog, and they're both living off the riches of their kitty puppy inheritance. I feel like this movie could absolutely take place in the Saw universe, so that's my headcanon. John's upstate, the collector's in the bayou, and somewhere in the middle is Billy with a bolo tie. I also want to give a huge shout out to all of our YouTube and Patreon members. Your support makes these videos more possible than ever. Uncensored videos go up early on Patreon and sometimes go public if YouTube is being particularly salty. And for YouTube members, you'll get videos early as often as I can make it happen and as often as I can calculate copyright issues as they come up. So an extra special shout out to Miss Goose and Clausewitz1815 for becoming members of the feet tier. There's no feet pics with this tier, but you do get to hear me say your internet name. Thank you again to each and every one of you. We just passed 25,000 subscribers. Actually, no, wait, that's now 25,632 subscribers, which is an obscene amount of people watching me count money in horror movies or calculating video game levels and just anything that we tend to do here. So you're all amazing. Thank you so much for being here. And remember, I'm here to make stuff. If you're here to watch, thanks.